Rightio, hello peeps. So today I wanted to have a bit of fun and draw and paint a multicoloured zebra. So I'm going to start just with a general zebra head shape. So they've got quite long noses. The end of their nose is sort of a little bit rounder than that, so sort of semi-triangular. So you start with a line on that angle like a triangle, square it off, and then come back down to their little chin, and the chin's another little triangle. Then on the similar angle to what I've got the top of the head coming down, they've got a cheek here. All right, and here's their little throat. Excuse my dog in the background. You heard a truck go past. Okay, so there, I'm going to do, the neck goes down on that sort of an angle. So his eye is sort of up towards the top of his head, but they look out sideways and behind them, so their eyes are on the sides of their heads. He's got a dark muzzle, so he's got dark fur down towards his nose, which is called their muzzle. He's got his little nostril there. And they've got small little mouths, so under that top lip, I'll pop his little mouth. Comes just a bit about to his chin, back of his chin there. And I'll just create a few more little creases in there. Okay, and they've got roundish ears, so I'm going to give him little roundish ears. And his ears are about the same length as his nose is wide, so about that long. I sort of measure one part of the animal against another to get their proportions. And yeah, they're very rounded, this particular species of zebra. So I'm going to pop, his neck goes off that way. And they've got lovely standy uppy manes. So I'll give him his little standy uppy mane. And I'll sort of break it up a little bit because they're not groomed, they're rough and a bit woolly looking. Pop the other ear over that side. And now I can start to draw his little stripes in. And we're going to have so much fun with this because I'm going to go mad and use lots of colours. So the stripes, just trying to have a look at the pictures that I'm using as a reference I've got off Unsplash. The stripes come down and around his face in sort of the shape of his face. And then they go down and around like that. So these will all be multicoloured. I can have them coming up and joining onto the muzzle part like that. And then a little one down there maybe. Now on his cheeks, they sort of come up and around like that. So again, following the direction of his shape of his head. All right, and also you'll have darker stripes in amongst his mane. So I've got to continue the stripes that come down his neck onto his mane like that. And I'm going to put another stripe there. A stripe there. Sort of follow the way of the shape of his neck like that. Sort of keep the stripes similar distances apart. They don't all go down to the bottom of the neck. Some do, some don't. They're like fingerprints. They're all different. Every zebra's got slightly different markings, so it's fun to add them in different spots and slightly different shapes, and some sort of join like that and then go down again and then join up at the top. And that's about that. That will actually do. Whoops, I'll just take his little neck down a bit. Okay, that'll do. So I'll add a little bit of detail into his eye. Like that. That's a little highlight. And we are going to go and add some colour. I'll pop the little fairy bits in. Okay. Let's get into the colour. I'm just going to shut the door. Hang on a second. Little Poopaloo is barking his little head off. Okay, so what are we going to do first? Let's start with some turquoise, I think. Turquoise is fun. I've got lots of beautiful colours here. So I'm going to use my Sennelier and my Schminky. So we're going to go turquoise green. Grab my brush. Dip it in my water. Bring my palette a little bit closer for you. Oh, it's a bit dirty. I'll use that side of it. Let's do that. Let's use that side. And go for my turquoise. So, get a bit of turquoise up here. And I'm going to do a few stripes here and there in all different fun colours because there's no rules. We can just have fun. I'm going to add a bit more water to that because it's a bit, and I didn't flow very well. I'm just fill in stripes here and there. I will have some natural colours on him. Like his muzzle and that I'll do in his natural muzzly colours. So that'll be sort of burnt sienna, which I've actually got a bit on my palette here. So I can use this. Whoops, I'm gonna need a bit more burnt sienna in there. That's a little bit brownish. A bit too brown. So I'll just add a brownish colour on his nose. Because it just keep a little bit of realism in there for fun. Alright, come back and around like that. Alrighty. I'm going to go a bright red, I think. Let's go a bit of orange, because why not? So we're going to add some orange in here. And we're just going to randomly fill in these stripes for fun. And I'll add another one just back here a little bit. It's a gorgeous colour, that, and I love that colour. And this is just a bit of fun, like just as a interesting project. You can give it away as a Christmas card, just a fun, happy feeling piece of art. You can do it on, I'm doing this quite a reasonable size, but you can do it as little or as big as you want. And I drew this freehand, but you can actually, you can trace them, and that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to grow a bit of phthalo green leaf green, because that looks like fun. I'm just going mad. I'm not using any colour theory. I'm just going with colours that I think look cool, that are really lovely and vibrant and are fun to use. Yeah, so no colour rules here, just going mad with colour. And I'll add a bit more water to that because it's a little bit dry. There we go. And you can see that flows a bit better. Take that down and around like that. What colour next? We might go a blue. Let's go cerulean. Pop a bit of cerulean blue in there, because why not? A bit of cerulean blue. Take that down onto that stripe. This is a very simple, fun, no pressure kind of picture. I'm going to give him a background, but I have no idea what kind of background I'm going to do. I'll come down here and fill this stripe in with the cerulean, because it's all different colours, so I have no idea what the background's going to be. I probably might go a bright red or something, or a bright orange, or even a yellow. I could go a yellow, couldn't I? Okay, so now I'm going to go a darker green, I think. Let's go an olive. I'll get a bit of olive. We need a bit of olive green in there, I think. And as you can see, I'm using it here on one part, and then on the face, and then I'm using it down his neck as well. So there's an olive green there, and I'll use the olive green on there. I might just take that stripe up a bit longer for a bit of fun. And you can actually add other colours on top of these, just for fun. To darken, like for shadow areas, you can add darker blues, darker greens, darker reds, which I might actually do, and we'll see how that goes. So I'll just do that like that. Okay, let's find some more colours. Okay, we can get into the purpley pinkies, I think. Let's go a bit of coral. Got a bit of coral here. Let's try that, shall we? Well, that's a pretty colour. We get a bit of coral on there. Oh, that's a beautiful colour. That's a bit of fun, eh? So pop that on there. Take that down his cheek, or her cheek, as the case may be. I'm not sure. Oops, doesn't matter if I've gone a little bit wiggly wobbly. Pop a bit of purple up there as well. A bit of coral up there. And okay, I'm just going to wiggly wobbly that line out to match that. There we go. Just disappear that little squishy bit that I did. And then what other colour am I going to use? I'm having a quick look at my colour palette. So I'm going to go a bit of magenta. Get a bit of magenta up on my palette. That's actually almost the same colour. I won't do that. I'll go a bit of this darker purpley colour. And I'll pop that on here. Take that right round. I don't even know what that is. Quinacridone something. I'm not sure, it's very dark, but it's a lovely colour. So I'll put that on there and take that right down and around like that. And I might pop that onto that darker stripe there. All right, now I'm going to go a little bit of Helios turquoise, which is a really lovely blue turquoise, and I'm going to add that in here. Oops, where did that go? I've got that on my other palette. I'll pop that in here. And run that down and around there. Like that. That is a lovely turquoise. I might even add that just in there a little bit. Like that. All right. Okay. I'm going to do some grey onto his muzzle. I'm going to do his muzzle sort of a natural colour, and I'll use the grey in his eyes as well. So I'll just darken up in his nose. So this is Payne's grey. And I'll water it down, quite diluted, and take it around his lips, around the top of his nostrils. I'll add some little blobby bits because they are sort of, the fur does change colours in different parts of their nose. So that'll do that. Now their eyes are lovely and brown, so I'm going to use a bit of transparent sienna. A little bit of transparent sienna in his eye, under the whites, around the edge of his eye. The inside of there's the pupil, and that is black or grey. I'm going to use grey. So I'm going to use the grey that I make up myself, which is burnt umber. Cobalt blue makes a lovely natural grey. Burnt umber, cobalt blue. And I'm going to pop that into the pupil, and I'm going to leave a little highlighty bit for the white, for the highlight. Go around that bottom edge of his eye, like that, and that's his eye pretty much done in. We are going to go around the outside of him now, and I think the only colour I haven't used is a yellow. So I might go in with a cadmium yellow. I'll get a ton of that on my palette. I'll go around the outside with cadmium yellow. Just a very heavy wash of it. Whoops-a-daisy. Doesn't matter. You know what? That's all the fun of it, isn't it? Let it flow into the other colours. I don't mind. I should have let it dry, but it doesn't matter. It's all half the fun of it, eh? I might be able to lift it off. I'll try and lift it off. That exploded into the yellow, didn't it? I'll just do that for now. Tidy it up a little bit. Come back around here. I should have wet my paper a bit. I'll just water it down on the palette, pop a lot more water in with it. So you can see this is a fun, simple, colourful way of just having fun with art. You know, it can be also serious, and you can get sort of logged down in getting everything super hyper realistic, but it's fun sometimes to just go a bit mad. Use all the colours in the wrong orders and just have a bit of fun, because that's what art's meant to be. Enjoyment. Enjoyment to be made and enjoyment to view. And my daughter's actually got a zebra painting that is a rainbow. And it makes me smile. Every time I see it, it makes me smile. So that's where this idea came from. Oops, I've got to get a bit more of that yellow onto my palette. There we go, get it a bit thicker. It's not quite thick enough. There we go. That's a bit better. Just take that all around the top of his neck. Go into the top here. You can see that purple sort of bled into it a bit as well, which doesn't matter, not the end of the world. It's a fun piece. It's not critical. Come around there. I can actually tidy that up after as it dries. I can go over it a little bit and it won't hurt. Take that down and around. Like that. Oops. You can see I've got it onto his white bits a little bit, but that's as well, that doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. It's a fun piece. All right, like that. I'm just going to go back and touch up that little bit that I messed up at the start. I think that's dry enough now. Just like that. And go over a little bit heavier with the yellow. Make it a little bit stronger. Like that. Drag that down and around, and I can blend it out a little bit. Same up here, I've got a little bit up there that's, I'll just touch that with my cloth, just lift that off and pop a bit more yellow on there. And go back over it, and it'll dry back a tone or two lighter, which is fine. Just got to go over that bit, I missed that bit. I can blend that all in. Right, I'll grab a little bit, I was going to clean my brush, dampen it off, and just soften the edges a little bit. So it's not quite such a harsh jumping colours. And now I'm going to add a little bit of other colours. So I'm going to go with my reds, with my red orange, I'm going to go a bit of vermilion just to darken up the bottom, the shadowy areas. Anywhere that's a little bit darker, I'm going to go a darker tone of whatever colour it is. So for the reds, I'll go a darker tone of the red. For the purples, I'll go a darker purple. I've got a dioxazine purple here somewhere. I'll use that. Where's my dioxazine? I know I've got a dioxazine. There we go. Dioxazine, it's a very deep purple. I'll add that into here. Oops, got to get a bit on my brush. Take that onto that purple. And darken that up a tone. You can actually even add blue to purple because it's a very bluish hue. For the greens, I'll go an olive. I'll go a dark olive onto the lighter green. I've got an olive green on there, but just putting it at the bottom. Anywhere that's in shadow, like that. And it just creates a little bit of three-dimensionalness. Whoops, and I should have cleaned my brush. That was silly. Just ducked across onto that, and that's all right, I can tidy that up after. And then I'm going to go again with the olive, but I'm going to go another, like just thicker, so it's darker, onto that olive bit. Same down there. Onto the blue, cerulean blue, I'm going to go cobalt. I'll add some cobalt. Like that. And that's a darker tone. And I can also take that onto the main. I'll add that onto all the blues, actually, the turquoise is included. Like that. And I'll take that up onto there. Like that. Okay. And I will also add that onto their top, or the top of it, its mane. So this, I'll add a few streaks of dark green in there. Few streaks of this lovely red, purpley red, onto the tops of the oranges. I'll go the quinacridone purple onto there. And what am I going to do now? I'm going to go a bit of ultramarine onto the bottom of this bit here. Then I'm going to soften the end, clean my brush, soften the edges a little bit. All right, clean my brush thoroughly because I've got another little itty bitty bleedy bit. I don't know whether I can lift that off just there. Just touch it with my damp cloth, wet the edge very lightly, and then touch it with my cloth and it should lift off. And I can just go over, yep, see that lifted off, beautiful. I can go over the top of that with a little bit of yellow when it's dry, like that. All right, I'm gonna add some tones of light grey, just a grey mix that I've got sitting on my palette, just to get shadows onto the white areas. I can actually, I don't mind if the other colours sort of come into there a little bit, like that. Because the bottom of his neck's in shadow. I've just got a damp brush and that's actually taking the paints that I've just put down into the shadow areas. So that's fine. I don't mind that at all. Again, damp brush, take it along the base of his neck. And those colours are sort of just coming into the... I've missed a stripe there. What colour am I going to do that? Oh, I can do that yellowy green. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to do a stripe here because I forgot one, like that. There we go. And I might even use that same yellow into the inner ear, like that. Right. I'm going to go very dark around the outer edge or the pupil and the outer edge of his eye. Like that, just to define that eye more. Just like that. Do the same with the nostril, the edge of the nostril. Like that. I'm going to add a little bit of this dark to the ears. And a little bit of definition, just a little bit of dark to the tops of the mane. Just using what's all left on the brush. Do a few definition lines just around his eyes. Just helps to make him look a little bit more realistic, even though he's not meant to look real. I can sort of smudge out that a little bit just to give him a little bit more three-dimensional. Righto, I reckon that is just about done. That's a really good, fun, simple picture that you can just do in, like I did that in about, what, 10 minutes or so? 20 minutes? Something like that. I'm just going to tidy up this little bit of yellow here. So I've just cleaned my brush, dipped it back into the yellow that I had and touched that in there. And that's done. And that is it. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all for the next video. Actually, I'll take off the edges first so you can see it with the edges off. And I can trim that down too. I can trim it down a little bit so it's not quite so much space around his head. But there you go. So that's a nice fun. Make a great card for someone, a great birthday present. It's a good fun little piece. So yeah, thanks for watching. Have an awesome day. I'll see you next video. Okie doke. Bye.